Good afternoon, Bookfighters. It is Tuesday, July 5th, and last week I read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which I do not have a copy of because I read it on my computer with the magic of technology, but I did indeed read it. And it was not my first time reading Gatsby. I read it the first time my junior year during American Lit, and then I'd read little bits and pieces here. We read it for my book club senior year, but I had already read it, so I kind of just skimmed through it. Still enjoyed it, just kind of went back and read some of my favorite parts over again. Didn't really read the whole thing, I was kind of busy. But yeah, but this time reading it all the way through again really was a learning experience, honestly, because when we read it the first time, my class didn't talk about the themes of the book. These ideas of it being about dreams, not necessarily the American dream, but like Dan said, just dreams in general, and the idea of how we perceive other people and how they perceive us and our misconceptions about them. Never discussed. We never talked about that kind of thing in my class. Most of the work that we did based on the book were just mindless, busy work. Really superficial questions about the text that were, I guess, were supposed to prove that we'd read it, but weren't actually helping us understand the text. Just reading it for a grade, basically. And nobody in the class really appreciated the book. So we never got to have discussions about the deeper meanings behind it. It was kind of like, this is The Great Gatsby, it's a book about the American dream. Now what do the eyeglasses mean? What does the green light mean? Here, write a short answer question about it. You're done. Have your A. Congratulations, you read The Great Gatsby. That's basically what it was. It wasn't anything meaningful. It wasn't anything that I could really draw from this time reading it. So I relied very heavily on you guys, Katie and Dan, your videos, and Nerdfighteria to kind of be that classroom ambiance that I never had when I read it the first time. So to read it like that was a great experience, honestly. And it was one of those where you knew that that's what it was about, just knowing it, but then reading it and experiencing it and seeing it in context made it so much better. And I already loved the book, and I love the book just exponentially more than I did before. And I was able to look at things that I hadn't really taken the time to appreciate when I read it the first time, like F. Scott Fitzgerald's writing, and how much I love his writing style, and how just truly lyrical it is, and that there really aren't very many authors that write like that. And it's just little things like that. It was a weird mix of reading and experiencing the bigger picture, and then also experiencing just the small details that I overlooked the first time, all at the same time, which I guess is really like the thrill of reading critically, after all. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that John chose it for our Nerdfighters Blurbing Book Club book, because had he not, I probably never would have had that opportunity, and I'm really glad that I did. So yeah. Anything else I could really say about the themes themselves? I feel like Katie and Dan have already addressed in full and much better than I probably could, so anything I could say would be just be parroting them, so I'm not really going to. But yeah, and I feel like I answered Katie's question somewhere in there, which was, have you ever gone back and reread a book from high school and had just a completely different experience? And definitely, because obviously your rant rings very true to me on how we were taught things in high school and how they weren't taught very well. So that's very relevant to my experiences in high school English, for sure. And then Dan's question was related to Gatsby, and it was, are we what we imagine ourselves to be? And then you proceeded to say that you didn't really know the answer to that. And honestly, I'm not really sure I do either. And you're the day before me, so I have the least amount of time to kind of wax poetic in my head about these philosophical questions that you ask. So give me some time. I will answer that question, if I can, next week. Okay? Give me some time to think about it, collect my thoughts, and then yeah. So that'll happen next week. And then you talked about your ideas for what we should do for our last videos, which basically I took from that is that you want to make me cry. I don't know if that's what you intended, but that's probably what's going to happen. Like, it's not going to be so much of a, these are my top 5 favorite books that I read over the year outro. It's going to be, these are the top 5 favorite books I read over the project. Watch Lauren cry openly on camera and talk about how much she loves you guys. So if you're cool with watching a video of that, then I'm totally cool with making that video for our last videos, because that's just what's gonna end up happening. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I do love the idea of choosing the 5 favorite books I've already started. But yeah, so the book that I'm gonna read this week is this here arc of The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson that Julia sent me. Amazing. Because she went to the ALA conference and she mailed me a copy that she got because she's wonderful. So that's what I'm gonna read. I'm excited. I know she's read it before because she got her arc a long time ago. So I'm excited. And yeah, I do not have any questions for you guys. I do not believe. I don't know why I second guess myself, but I do not have any questions.